Good morning. Alyssa Cedillo with Tree of Life Counseling Center here today, and our nonprofit Root of It Foundation. I know we had some updates about Know Your Rights earlier in the week, and I want to make sure to follow up on what I said and giving some information about our children and our families. Again, please note this is not legal or professional advice, but this is public information in order to help you better protect yourself and your communities. For our children, regardless of your immigration status, all children have the constitutional right to attend school. But schools are not obligated to enforce compliance with immigration laws. This means when your children come to school, your schools have the right to say whether or not ICE agents or police informant can enter the school property. That being said, for parents, for caregivers, for those out there, I would highly suggest that you ask the school district and ask the specific school your children are attending what their policies are about allowing ICE into the school. We have power and we have the ability to pressure. So if they are unable or unwilling to say that they are not going to allow dangerous individuals to come into schools, then we need to start putting pressure on them to change those policies. It's unfair and unfortunate that we're having to do this right now, but in the end of the day, prioritizing our children's safety is what we need to be concerned about. Our kids already go to school every day afraid because of school shootings, because of bullying, because of so many other things. And this does not need to be another concern of our kids right now. No child or student is required to answer questions about their parents' status, immigration status, and we can start educating our children now to say, I choose not to answer, right? It can be very difficult for children when they're talking to an adult. There's power dynamics there. And so now is the time to embolden our children, to teach our children on how to respond to individuals and what they do or don't have to say. Whether you are here documented or not. For those of us that have the privilege of being U.S. citizens, we also have the obligation to do something. That means we get to drag our feet. We get to say no. We get to comply. We get to be non-compliant. All right. Teaching our children whether you're born here in the U.S. or not is necessary. No parent is required to answer any questions in regard to their status or anyone else's status. Those are very important things to teach our children. We also want to make sure that we're prepared so that we're not scared. This means safety planning. Documents at home. We need to keep these documents in safe locations. That means things like immigration documents, like green cards, work permits, receipt notices, etc. Identity documents like birth certificates, ID cards, passports. Civil documents, marriage certificate, divorce decrees, social security cards, children's birth certificates, and if they have passports. Presence documents, such as you have utility bills, lease agreements, bank statements, pay stubs, any criminal history records, keeping copies of your charge and the disposition that was in the end. We also need to keep a contact list available. These are all documents to keep at home. One of the big important ones is medical records and prescription information. Sometimes our children cannot remember their medications. Sometimes family members can't, so we need to have these documents somewhere. We also need to make sure that documents are carried on us. If you're an adult, that 2 years of continuous presence here, U.S. photo ID, a copy of green cards, and things like that. As far as family planning goes, it's very important that we really consider who do we feel safe to take care of our children. If for some reason we are incapacitated, if for some reason we are able to answer, what members of your household can we look to for a unique family plan for minor children and other dependents or vulnerable adults? Who, if for some reason you are detained or deported, is the responsible party for contacting lawyers and community organizations for providing this information to caregivers? Bring your children in on these plans. We have to explain to them and care for them in the best way we can, and knowledge is power. We need to practice how they can contact these persons for help. Whereas, do they have a phone number? Do they have an email? Do they have anything that you can give your child, whether it's programming it in their phone or having them keep a card on their person with them in their backpacks? Who do you entrust to take care of your children? Your partner, your friend, a relative, a godparent, a well-known neighbor? It's better if this person has immigration status, but it's not required. We need to be asking this person if they're willing to care for our children and go over these specific details. How long will they be able to do so? We need to think long term. How much does it cost to care for these children, and who's going to cover that cost? Can they adequately supervise children? Do they understand if your child has medical needs or needs additional or extra supports? Do they know your child's school and after school schedules? Does this person you've chosen live with other people who may have CPS records? We have to ask about that. And we also need to add this person to our emergency contact list at their school right away. In fact, it's very important that we look to that there's a trusted adult for a child to look to when necessary. I've noted, and the most important of all of this is to make sure that we're putting this in writing. We can say anything we want to say, but if it's not in writing, we need our children to be able to have something that they can use to protect themselves. Additionally, I feel the need to say that when I posted the first video, a lot of people had responses about how important it was to take care of our children and important it was to have more information about this. And I don't disagree. But I will also challenge all of us to really sit with and think about this agenda that's out there that protect the children, with a lack of understanding and empathy that these children have caregivers. And these caregivers are their parents, their grandparents, their families, their communities. And if we can't find some empathy and the ability to see that protecting the rights of adults means a trickle down of protecting the rights of our children, then we really need to consider how we're viewing these things. These adults who are being deported, these children who are being deported, have families and communities that are deeply rooted here. And if we are not providing information about how adults can protect themselves as well and how they can prepare for their children to be safe, then we're missing the point. This information, I am so very grateful for the fact that St. Andrews University came out and did a training and helped us to educate us about our rights. But they were very clear that the laws are continuing to change and things are in a bit of disruption right now. So as I said before, I will do my best to continue to provide you with information. We will do our best to provide them in multiple languages. We are doing everything we can to support our communities right now at this time. And so we ask you to continue to take care of each other and to remember that when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty, and we as a community can keep each other safe. We thank you for being here with us today, and we stand in solidarity with you. Tree of Life Counseling Center and Root of It Foundation.